The wind was cold and sharp. Snow fell from the gray sky, covering the ground like a white blanket. A woman lay in the middle of it, all alone, still and nearly frozen. Her dress was torn, her hands were blue from the cold, and her face was pale. She wasn't moving. Her name was Clara. She had once lived in a warm cabin with her husband and child, but now that life was gone. The settlers who once called her a neighbor had turned on her. They said she brought bad luck. They blamed her for things she didn't do. One cold morning, they tied her up, rode her out to the edge of the forest, and left her there to die. Clara didn't even cry. She was too weak. The pain in her body had become numb. The snow kept falling. Hours passed. She thought it was the end. But then, footsteps. At first she thought she was dreaming. Then she heard the crunch of snow under boots. A figure appeared through the thick snow. A man. Tall, strong, wrapped in furs. His face was painted and his long black hair blew in the wind. He was a warrior Cheyenne by the look of him. He looked down at her, his eyes full of sadness. And something else. Anger, numbered determination. Without saying a word, he bent down, wrapped her in a warm buffalo blanket, and picked her up like she weighed nothing. She tried to speak, but no sound came out. All she could do was stare at his face as he walked through the snow, carrying her toward the trees. Why did he save her? How did he even find her? And what would happen next? The woman's name was Anna Caldwell. She was just 24, but her eyes looked older. Tired from pain loss and too many hard winters. She used to smile often, but now her face was quiet, like she had forgotten how to feel anything at all. Anna had once lived in a warm, busy farmhouse with her husband and baby boy. But after a smallpox outbreak took her son and raiders burned their home, she and her husband joined a group of settlers heading west. The journey was hard. The land was wild, full of storms, wolves, and men who had no law. One night while crossing the plains, her husband was shot during a fight with another settler. He died in front of her. The other settlers grew cold. They blamed Anna for bad luck. One morning while the wagon train crossed a frozen river, they pushed her out. "She'll slow us down," one man said. "She's already lost everything." And just like that, they left her. Alone. In the snow. The land around her was vast and cruel. Sharp winds blew through the trees. Wolves howled in the distance. The sky always looked angry, like it was about to cry or strike. The prairie stretched for miles with no sign of help, just white snow-dead trees and old wagon tracks already fading. But Anna didn't die. Somewhere far off, a man rode alone. He was tall and strong, wrapped in fur and leather. His horse moved slowly through the snow, sniffing the air. His name was Koa, a quiet Cheyenne warrior who had left his people months ago after a fight with his brother. He didn't trust many. He believed in signs from nature and carried small feathers tied to his belt. Each one meant something: loss, strength, protection. As he rode, Koa saw something strange, what looked like a bundle of cloth sticking out from a snowdrift. He stopped. His eyes narrowed. It was a woman. He jumped off his horse and rushed over. She was barely breathing, lips blue, skin cold. But she was alive. Koa didn't ask questions. He wrapped her in a buffalo hide, lifted her onto his horse, and took her with him. He lived in a small shelter built from stone and wood, hidden deep in a forest near the river. There, with the help of fire and herbs, he fought to keep her alive. Every night he sat beside her, watching, waiting. He didn't know who she was or why she had been left for dead, but he had a feeling something deep inside that this woman was important. When Anna finally opened her eyes, she didn't know where she was. The fire was warm. A strange man sat by her side. She panicked, but he raised his hands, showing he meant no harm. "You were in the snow," he said softly. "I brought you here." Anna didn't speak. Her throat was dry, but in her eyes, fear and confusion swirled. Koa gave her water. He said nothing more. For now, he would wait. He knew pain when he saw it, and the pain in her eyes was the kind that takes time to speak. Outside, the wind howled. Snow kept falling. But inside the shelter, a fire burned, and two broken souls, both running from their past, now sat under one roof. And just outside the cabin in the trees, a shadow moved. Someone had seen Koa bring her in. Someone was watching. Anna had survived the night barely. Her body was weak, her lips blue, and her hands numb. But when she opened her eyes, she saw something or someone moving through the snow. At first, she thought it was a spirit, tall, silent, wrapped in fur and leather. But as he stepped closer, she saw the dark eyes watching her. calm, careful human. He didn't speak. He knelt beside her, placed a warm hand on her forehead, and gently checked her arms and legs. Then without a word, he picked her up and carried her across the snow-covered hills. When Anna woke again, she was inside a small lodge, warm and dry. Smoke rose gently from a fire pit in the center. Animal skins covered the walls. She heard the wind outside, but here it was, peaceful. The man sat near the fire, sharpening a blade. He looked young, maybe her age. Strong, focused, a lone warrior. "Where am I?" she whispered. He looked up, surprised she was awake. "Safe," he said softly. His voice was deep but gentle. "What's your name?" she asked. He paused. "Tahu." Over the next few days, Tahu cared for her. He brought her food, herbs, clean water. He didn't ask questions. He didn't tell her much. But Anna could feel he had known pain, too. He had scars on his arms and a sadness in his eyes, but peace didn't last. On the fourth night, just after sunset, Anna heard voices outside the lodge. Angry voices. Men. Tahu stepped out, speaking in a language she didn't understand. She peeked through a small gap in the wall. 4 white men on horseback, rough, loud armed. One of them she recognized. Clayton Ward, her late husband's business partner. He had always looked at her with cold eyes. "Where is she?" Clayton shouted. "We know you took her." Tahu stood his ground, but Anna saw his jaw tighten. Clayton raised his rifle. "She ran off with my money and my supplies. That girl's a thief, and she belongs to me." Anna's heart stopped. She knew what Clayton wanted. Not justice. Revenge. She had seen him kill before. If he got his hands on her, he'd do worse. Suddenly there was a loud bang. A warning shot from one of the men. Tahu didn't flinch, but Anna knew this wasn't over. Inside the lodge, she looked down at her shaking hands. She had nothing. No weapons, no strength, no help. Except for the quiet warrior who had saved her. And now he was risking everything. "Why are they after you?" Tahu asked that night. His eyes locked on hers. Anna swallowed. "Because I found something. Something they killed for." She pulled a small leather pouch from under her dress. Tahu opened it. Inside was a folded map. Faded. Torn. But the mark on it was clear. Gold. Outside, the wind howled again. But now more than snow was coming. Men. Guns. Greed. And secrets that could change everything. Anna stayed in the lodge for a week. Each day her strength slowly returned. Tahu gave her food, herbs for healing and quiet company. He rarely spoke, but when he did, his words carried weight. She learned that he lived alone away from his tribe because of something that had happened years ago. A fight, maybe. He didn't share much, but Anna could feel he carried pain just like she did. One morning, Anna woke to find Tahu saddling 2 horses. "You're strong now," he said. "You can't stay." Anna stood slowly, confused. "Why? They will come. Who the men who left you? They will not want anyone to know what they did. And others may be looking for you, too." She didn't understand, but she knew he was right. If those settlers learned she was alive, they might try to finish what they started. So the journey began. They rode through forests, across frozen rivers, and into dry, cold plains. The land was harsh. Food was hard to find. Some nights they slept in caves, other times under the stars. Tahu taught Anna how to read tracks, start fires, and listen to the land. She was stronger than she thought, and he reminded her of that every day. But danger followed. One night while camping near a canyon, they heard horses in the distance. 5 men. Guns. Shouting. Anna recognized one of the voices. It was Eli, her husband's cousin, the one who had led her into the woods and left her for dead. "They're close," she whispered. Tahu nodded. "We leave. Now." They rode through the night, barely escaping. The tension grew. Anna started asking questions. "Why do they want me dead? Is it just about the past, or is there something else?" Tahu stayed quiet. But then one night he asked, "You carried a locket when I found you. Where is it?" Anna froze. It was broken. It belonged to my son." Tahu stared at her. "Number." It was not just a locket. It had a map inside. Anna's eyes widened. "What?" He nodded. "A hidden map. Someone is looking for it. Maybe your husband knew something. Maybe you do too." Anna felt her heart race. She had never opened the back of the locket. Had her husband hidden something there? The mystery deepened. Tahu finally told her the truth. Years ago, he had belonged to a group called the Watchers. They protected sacred land that settlers were trying to steal. One man from that group had betrayed them, all sold their secrets for gold and vanished. That man might have been Anna's husband. He was called Elias, Tahu said. Is that your husband's name? Anna shook her head. His name was David, but then she remembered. David once said he had changed his name when they moved west. He had been hiding something from her from everyone. The betrayal hit hard. Anna now had more questions than answers. Why had her husband lied to her? What was in that map, and why were men like Eli willing to kill for it? Worse, could Tahu be using her? Why are you helping me? She asked one night. Tahu looked at her. At first I wanted answers. Now I don't know. His voice was softer this time. His eyes met hers. And for a moment there was something between them. But Anna pulled away. Her heart was still broken. She couldn't trust anyone. Not yet. Then came the trap. They reached a small trading post at the edge of a canyon. Just a few cabins, a saloon, and a blacksmith. Tahu went inside to get supplies. Anna waited outside with the horses. That's when she heard it. A click. A rifle. She turned slowly. Eli stood there smiling. Well, well, he said. You're harder to kill than I thought. Anna tried to run, but two other men grabbed her. She screamed. Tahu rushed out of the cabin, drew his knife, but stopped when he saw they had guns aimed at her. Drop it, Eli said. Tahu froze. They tied him up, dragged both of them into a barn, locked the door. Eli knelt beside Anna. Your husband was a liar. He stole something that didn't belong to him, and now you're going to help me find it. I don't know what you're talking about, she said. Oh, I think you do, he whispered. And if you don't, we'll make you remember. Anna sat in the dark barn, tied beside Tahu. Her face was bruised. Her heart pounded. Tahu leaned closer. They'll take us to Dead Horse Ridge. What's there? She asked. He looked at her, eyes full of fire. The truth. It had been 3 weeks since Anna left the lodge with Tahu. The snow had melted. Spring touched the trees. But something had changed in the air. Something tense and heavy. Tahu was more silent than ever. He kept looking over his shoulder like he sensed something Anna couldn't see. One evening, as they set up camp by a quiet stream, Anna saw a mark on Tahu's shoulder. A faded brand burned into his skin. She frowned. What's that? He paused. It's from a prison camp. She blinked. You were a prisoner? Tahu nodded once. Many winters ago. I was blamed for something I didn't do. Anna leaned closer. What did they say you did? He met her eyes. They said I betrayed my tribe to save a white woman. The fire cracked between them. Anna's chest tightened. What woman? Tahu stood, turning away. It doesn't matter. She lied. I paid the price. That night Anna couldn't sleep. Something in her past stirred. A name, a face, a memory she'd buried deep. She reached into her coat and pulled out a folded paper she'd hidden for weeks. A wanted poster. Her name was on it. Wanted. Anna Caldwell. Theft. Arson. Murder. Reward. $300. Tahu had never seen it. He didn't know. But the truth was, Anna hadn't just lost her family. She'd run from something. She had stolen food from a trading post. The fire wasn't an accident. And the man who died, he was chasing her. Tahu wasn't traveling with a victim. He was traveling with a fugitive. The next morning, as they packed up to leave, Anna heard something. Horses. Voices. She and Tahu ducked behind rocks. Men in blue coats rode past. U.S. Marshals. One of them held the same wanted poster. Tahu's jaw clenched. They're after you. Anna stayed quiet. You lied to me. I didn't mean to, she whispered. I thought I could leave that part behind. Tahu's eyes burned with betrayal. You brought death to my trail. Suddenly, bang, a gunshot echoed. One of the marshals had spotted them. They ran. Bullets flew. Trees shattered. One grazed Tahu's side. He stumbled, blood staining his coat. Anna pulled him up. Come on. They dove into a ravine, rolled down into thick brush, and crawled through the mud until the voices faded. Hours later, they hid in a cave, breathless. Tahu stared at Anna. Why did you run back then? She looked away. Because I had no one. My baby was dead. My husband had become violent. I did what I had to do to survive. He said nothing. She added, "You think you saved me, but maybe I'm the reason you're bleeding now." Tahu leaned his head back, breathing hard. "We both carry ghosts." For a moment they were silent. Then footsteps echoed inside the cave. Someone was coming. A shadow crossed the wall. And then a voice called softly, "Anna, is that you?" She froze. She knew that voice. It was her husband, the one she thought was dead. The wanted poster burned in Anna's hand like fire. Wanted Anna Whitlock for the theft of military documents and the death of Lieutenant R. Hayes. She hadn't meant for anyone to die. She never even touched a weapon. But she had seen something she wasn't supposed to, and when she ran, they blamed her, framed her, hunted her. Tahu didn't know. She hid the poster back in her coat, but things had changed. Every step they took now felt heavier. Every look from him full of quiet suspicion. That night they were ambushed. Arrows flew from the trees. Anna screamed. Tahu pushed her behind a rock, drawing his blade. 3 riders charged from the woods. They wore black masks, ruthless mercenaries. Tahu fought like a storm, quick, brutal, silent. But one of the riders slashed his arm and blood spilled across the snow. Anna picked up a fallen bow and shot wildly, missing every time, but screaming loud enough to distract them. The attackers fled, but not without leaving a mark. Tahu fell to the ground wounded. Anna pressed cloth to his side, shaking. "You'll be okay," she whispered. "You have to be." But his eyes and they looked distant. They found a small cave nearby. Anna built a fire and treated his wound as best she could using what he'd taught her. She felt helpless, angry, scared. That night, Tahu finally spoke. "You have something you're hiding," he said. Anna looked at the fire, not him. Yes, he didn't ask more. But the silence between them felt colder than the wind outside. As days passed, Anna hunted for food, protected him. She became what he once was to her, a guardian. But danger was closing in. They found fresh tracks in the snow. She knew the mercenaries would return, and next time they wouldn't fail. Then came the heartbreak. As Anna returned from hunting one afternoon, she saw something she never expected. Elias, her childhood friend. He was waiting at their camp, dressed in the uniform of the Western Regiment. Tahu was still resting in the cave, unaware. Anna froze. "Elias," she whispered. He smiled. "You're hard to find, Anna." She stared at his uniform. "You're with them." "I've always been with them," he said. "I came to bring you back." Her voice trembled. "I didn't kill Hayes. You know that." "I know," he said. "But they don't care. They want the files, and they want the story buried. You were never supposed to survive." Anna stepped back. "You were my friend." He lowered his voice. "I still am. That's why I'm giving you a chance. Come quietly and they won't hurt you." She shook her head. "And what about Tahu?" Elias's jaw tightened. "He's a traitor. He helped you escape. They'll hang him." Anna's heart shattered. She returned to the cave slowly, her mind spinning. She sat next to Tahu, his eyes half open. "You look troubled," he said. She couldn't hold it in. "My old friend found us. He's working for the army. They want me, and they want you dead." Tahu looked at her calm. "And you? What do you want?" She didn't answer. That night they heard hoofbeats, torches, voices. The soldiers had come. Tahu stood still, weak but determined. He looked at her one last time. "You should run." "No," Anna said. "I'm not leaving you. Not again." They took up positions at the mouth of the cave. Tahu with his blade, Anna with her bow. Together. As the soldiers approached, Anna whispered, "I was never the victim, Tahu. I made a choice. I stole something they wanted, and people died because of it." He didn't move. I already knew. The first shot rang out. The cave filled with smoke and fire. Everything was about to end. Tahu's wound was deep, but Anna kept him alive. They took shelter in an old mining shack miles from any trail. Days passed. Anna hunted rabbits, brought water, and stood guard at night. Each morning, Tahu looked weaker. "You should leave me," he whispered once. "They'll be back." "I'm not leaving you," she said firmly. But deep inside, fear clawed at her. Not just fear of being caught, but fear of what she had to do next. She had to face them. One night, Anna heard voices outside. Soldiers. She peeked through the boards. 4 men, rifles ready, scanning the area. They'd found her. She touched the dagger Tahu had given her. Her heart pounded. She could run. She could hide. But Tahu would die, and she would never stop running. No more. She stepped out slowly, hands raised. The soldiers raised their guns. Anna Whitlock, the leader, barked. "You're under arrest for murder and treason." "I didn't kill anyone," she said. "You know that." Another soldier laughed. "Tell it to the colonel. He's the one who wants your head." Anna's eyes narrowed. "Then take me to him." They tied her hands, pushed her onto a horse, and rode for hours. At dawn, they reached a cold gray fort hidden in the hills. Inside, behind iron bars and stone walls, stood Colonel Jasper, the man who had once promised to protect her and then betrayed her. He smiled when he saw her. Still alive, impressive. Anna stared at him, hatred burning. "Why did you do it?" He shrugged. "You were in the wrong place. Saw the wrong papers. That lieutenant was sloppy and he paid the price. But I couldn't risk you talking. You lied. You blame me." He stepped closer. "And you ran, which made you look guilty." "Perfect, really." Anna clenched her fists. "I'm not running anymore." Suddenly, gunfire outside, shouts, explosions. The walls shook. The soldiers ran to the gate. Anna's heart jumped. Tahu. The next moments were chaos. Smoke poured through the windows. Horses screamed. A flaming arrow hit the roof. And in the middle of it, Tahu, bloodied but standing, charged through the courtyard with a stolen rifle. Anna used the distraction to grab a soldier's knife, cut her ropes, and unlock her cell. She ran into the battle. Anna, Tahu called out, spotting her. They fought their way toward the stables, side by side, back to back. Colonel Jasper stepped into their path. He raised his pistol. "You won't leave this place?" Anna stepped forward. "No," she said. "You will." Bang! A single shot echoed. Jasper dropped the gun, clutching his leg. Tahu lowered the rifle. Anna stood over the colonel. "This is justice, not revenge." They left him behind in the burning fort. Together. The snow had melted by the time Anna walked out of the base. Her hands were scraped, her clothes torn, but her eyes held fire. Colonel Wexler was gone, arrested. The truth had come out. He'd staged the ambush that killed Lieutenant Hayes. Anna had just been the scapegoat. She had told her story, faced her fear, risked everything. Now she was free, but freedom didn't feel like she thought it would. Tahu lay resting beneath the trees far from the camp. He was healing, slow but alive. When she saw him, he smiled faintly. "So the warrior wins." Anna knelt beside him. Not without help. They didn't say much, just looked at each other, tired and changed. Two people who had survived something no one else would ever understand. "You'll leave soon?" he asked. She nodded. "I have to." Where she looked to the horizon, south. "There's someone I need to find. Someone who knew my brother." Before all this, Tahu nodded slowly. "Then go. But one day come back." As she walked away, snowflakes began to fall again. Light, quiet, peaceful. But in her coat pocket was a letter. One she had stolen from Wexler's desk. It was unsigned. "The girl knows too much. If she talks, we lose everything. Send a message." There was a name at the bottom, not Wexler's. This wasn't over. The storm was coming, and Anna Whitlock would be ready.